Okay, this is my first video, so thanks, Ruben. But Kyle, the other night when you said you're talking my language, I'm gonna make sure I'm talking your language as well. So what we have are multiple documents. The first one is the residential real estate purchase contract. And what that is, it's you, Kyle and Madison, buying from Deborah, 3621 West Keller Court, and it gives the assessor's number. It has an offer price of $565 with a $5,000 earnest money deposit, and that's going to be $5,000 that you're going to have to get over to the title company once we have the contract acceptance. The balance of the deposit of $15,000, because again, I assume that you had $20,000 to put down based on your pre-qualification letter, leaves a mortgage amount of $545. Those numbers are all well within what Ruben has written for you, and hopefully gives us a little bit of a cushion. It says on line 17 that the earnest money will be done in the form of a wire transfer, and it's going to go over to the escrow company. We have the close of escrow for April 30th. And again, that's it's kind of a hard date, but as we get closer, we'll know for sure. But that's the date we shoot for. Possession will be the day that we close it, is the day you get it. Line 11, or is that 1F, line 36, the addenda that's included is going to be the HOA, because everything in Anthem has that HOA addendum, and then the seller compensation addendum. That's where we're going to ask for the seller to pay my fee rather than have it come directly out of your pocket. Let's see. We have the refrigerator, the washer, and the dryer staying. I'm kind of hitting the important parts on this. I'm not going to read every line because you'll have it and you'll have plenty of time to read it. Don't sign anything if you're not comfortable with it. I want to make sure you understand everything. Under the financing, we do have a pre-qualification letter, and that's already been signed, so we will get that put up with the offer. You're going to have a loan contingency, and you need to have your loan done 3 days prior to the close of escrow date. So which is normal. It normally takes about 30 days to get that done. You guys, with all of your paperwork together, may be even done a little bit faster. If we don't get our loan contingency met, we have to let the seller know within 3 days so that we can get your money back. The interest rate is all stated on the pre-qual letter. Loan status update, that's going to be something that comes from Ruben to the seller to let them know, or the seller's agent rather, to let them know that everything is progressing the way it's supposed to, so there's no surprises. We're going to apply for the loan right away. Loan processing during the escrow, it's just part of the normal process, and you'll get a loan estimate, so that'll give you part of the it'll give you all of the answers that you need. Our financing is FHA, because again, that's what it said on your pre-qual letter. We're not asking for seller concessions. Those seller concessions would be for closing costs. What we're asking for is seller compensation, so that's a little bit different. If we make any changes, we have to let the seller know. We do have an appraisal contingency, because we do have to make sure that it appraises, because you are getting a loan for the amount of the mortgage. The mortgage is the amount of the loan, so therefore it has to be appraised. So the bank has to send someone out, and that's where it's the listing agent's job to make sure that the numbers come in. And she said that she is happy to meet the appraiser, which is huge for me, because a lot of times the appraiser doesn't get met by the agent, and she does have all the receipts so that she can help justify the price. If the appraisal comes in low, then we go back to negotiating a price, especially with an FHA, because FHA, the price, the value on an FHA appraisal stays with it for 90 days. So it would be in the seller's best interest to go ahead and renegotiate down to whatever the appraisal value comes in at. If we have to cross that bridge, we'll go all into this in further detail. Until then, don't worry about it. Don't let it be something that holds us up. First American Title is the one over by Fry's. I do a lot of business with them. They're very, very good. So we'll see if we can do that. Again, that's a negotiable point, but typically the buyer gets to choose that. we'll get title commitment and insurance. If there's a dispute between you and the seller over the release of the earnest money, we both have to be in agreement in order to get it released. So the title can't just give it to you, they can't just give it to the seller. It has to be done by mutual agreement, should that happen. Let's see, we'll get the disclosures within 5 days. We'll get the insurance claims history within 5 days. It's not built before 1978, so we're going to go ahead and initial that. That's up to line 182. Let's see. Warranties, there's no warranty that comes with it. Basically it's going to be an as-is. We do get to do our inspections, section 6A, line 213. We have 10 days to do our home inspection. That's where we're going to go through with an inspector and have them take a look at everything. If there are any concerns, we then have within that 10-day period the opportunity to present those to the seller and see what the seller's response would be. The seller has 5 days to respond to us, and if it's not everything that we asked for, then we have 3 days in which to respond, whether we want to move forward and accept it the way it is, or if we want to back out and get your deposit money back. It is connected to a sewer system, so we have to check that box off. We have to check the swimming pool barriers. We have to, on 6H, line 252, acknowledge that the brokers, myself, and Tempo, the listing agent, we're not inspectors. You can't count on us to be the one doing the inspection. That has to be someone that you hire to come in and take a look at that, and I have plenty of great references for you there. We have that 10 days, and it talks about the 5 days, the 3 days. I checked off that we don't want a home warranty. If you change your mind and you do want a home warranty, not a problem. Your friend from last week, she's the first person I've ever seen actually have something positive come out of a home warranty, but we can absolutely do it if you wanted to. But most everything in the house is new. But again, not a problem. We can just add it in there. And that runs about $500. We will do a walkthrough 3 days prior to, you can do it up to 3 days, maybe because this one's vacant we could, but typically it's the day of the closing to make sure everything's the way it's supposed to be. If we decide that we're not going to play the way we're supposed to, we're going to get a cure period, and that's 3 days. If we just breach the contract, if we decide, forget it, I just don't have a good feeling on it, and we don't use the inspection contingency or the appraisal contingency, then you could lose your deposit money. That would be a breach. If you decide to have an attorney take a look at it, that would be an additional expense that would have to be part of your responsibility. Just seeing what else is important here. It's time is of the essence, so we have to just make sure that we follow all of our timelines properly. And we are giving the seller until tomorrow at 5 to hopefully accept or counter our offer. And the reason I put it so close between 565 and the 575 is try to encourage them to take the 565. We may still get a counter offer, but I'm hoping that we're giving them something nice enough that they're going to want to just go ahead and accept it. So that is the contract, and that takes, let's see how many pages, 12 pages to go through. Then we have the buyer advisory, and that is a plethora of information that talks about everything that a buyer should know. The descriptions of the governing documents. It's kind of like a, not a thesaurus, but an explanation, a dictionary of all of the terms that are associated with that. And then at the very end of that, we'll need signatures. And this is coming over by AuthentiSign, so as soon as one of you signs, it'll automatically be emailed and give you a second signature opportunity. See, this buyer advisory takes, let's see, That took another 13 pages. Then we have the market conditions advisory, and that's just saying that what the market is today may not be what the market is tomorrow. We have no way of knowing that, and just understanding that the market is cyclical. It goes up and it goes down. Typically it goes more up than it does down, but we can't be accurate predictors of that. Then there's one for wire fraud, which as you know is really running rampant, so we want to make sure that everybody's aware of that. A notice regarding mold is saying that I am not trained to identify mold, so if you want to have a mold inspection, we can absolutely have that added into your inspections. All right, and here's what we really should have signed beforehand. So this is the buyer-broker exclusive employment agreement. So because we had talked about it last year when we met, we've both kind of been working like on a handshake agreement that I'm working for you and you're agreeing to work with me. Well, this is a document that we're supposed to have signed ahead of time, which is why I've dated it 3/19, because that's the day we first started going out. For Anthem and the surrounding areas, that broker compensation is not set by law. It's totally negotiable. I typically work for 3%. If I don't put 3% on this document, I'm not able to take 3% if the seller isn't offering it. So if I put a lesser number here, I'm not able to get paid more. So I'm putting the higher number here, and then we will talk about it afterwards. And very honestly, I'll just adjust mine back down because I'm not going to be a jerk. You know I'm worth it. I know I'm worth it, but I know I'm not going to ask for it completely out of your pocket. That's just, it's just a, it's a philosophy. Because honestly, the money was the buyers to begin with. So saying that the buyers weren't paying for the representation is really not accurate. They really were, but not every agent was going through and explaining it. So that's why we kind of came into a problem with it. So that's just saying that you're agreeing that I'm working for you, you're working with me. And that's got signatures for all three of us on that. And then the affiliated business relationship disclosure. Realty Executives has relationships with certain companies where they get a better discount. That discount is then passed on to you, the consumer. I don't get any kickbacks. Realty Executives doesn't get any kickbacks, and you absolutely get the best pricing possible. So that's a 2-page document. Fair housing is another page. It's illegal to discriminate. I mean, you guys are young, you know. Yeah, maybe that was discriminatory, but I'm old and that's discriminatory too, so it's okay. And then the salary compensation addendum. So this is where we're asking the seller, Deborah, to pay for the 3% towards my professional services fee. And this is also negotiable. We'll see what the seller says. In most cases, they say yes. In some cases, they say no. And then it's a negotiation point, and we'll deal with it when we cross that bridge. The agency and disclosure says that I am working for you. I am going to show you properties, and you are choosing to work with me, and you guys both have to sign that. And then it talks about what is a buyer representation agreement, and that's from the Arizona Realtors, and that is it's part of the Realtor Code of Ethics, and you can see that document as well. And then it's a list of all of the upgrades that have been done to the home in the last, looks like just this year. Yep. And then the HOA addendum. So everything in Anthem is part of the HOA, and with that we have the enhancement fee. With every home that's sold in Anthem, we have a community enhancement fee. It's 1/4 of 1% of the sales price. That's what goes to the HOA, and that's why we don't have special assessments. And we're able to have community improvements without having any extra monies taken out of our pockets. So that's where we're going to split that 1/4 of 1%, which comes out to about $700. We have fair housing, which is basically another anti-discrimination. Actually, I think it's in there twice. So I guess I really want to make sure discrimination is illegal. So I'm going to go ahead and send this over to you. I will get this uploaded, and you can find me on YouTube. And let me know if you have any questions. I am going out tonight. Boulder Creek is having Beetlejuice, and they came and looked for sponsors at Rotary. So I paid to have a commercial, and so I get to go and see my commercial in their show. But that doesn't mean you can't contact me, and I can always give you a call when I get back after the show. Absolutely let me know. And it's only 4 o'clock, so we'll have a little bit of time in the meantime anyway. And if you can't get it signed tonight, it's fine. We'll just adjust the times for tomorrow. Talk to you soon. Thanks. Bye.